Welcome to the Blessed to Teach show. You can tell my new configurations aren't working real well, or I'm getting hacked. So we know, again, that my entire website got hacked before Christmas, 5 or 6 days before Christmas, and here we are. Every time I don't use Virtual Shield, it seems to be getting hacked as well. So I got Virtual Shield up and running now, and hoping that we're getting better connections. Yeah, it looks like I got green on the connection. That's good. Again, this is Blessed to Teach show. Again, the day after Christmas on December 26th. This is Rick, your host. We're talking about the Air Force One mystery. Where in the heck was the president on Christmas Day? Was he literally flying all the way into the Middle East? What was up with that? We'll get into that. We'll also talk about D5 being the 5th day of the shutdown, day 5 of the shutdown. And so let's get into this as we start exploring everything that's going on. Now, I've got a lot of new settings I'm trying out and trying to stream live to multiple sites at the same time. So let me know if you guys are hearing me nice and clear as you guys start coming on. I might have to launch a different browser, as I'm not sure if it launched as I launched. It went to a different stream. So I'm going to actually check that real quick, and we'll get rolling here talking about D5 and everything else that's going on, which is really exciting. So here I've got, it looks like I'm going to have to launch another browser to make everything, no, it looks like it's going well. So I see somebody there, so I probably just have to relaunch this one that's not showing up for me. I see people there. So I'm just going to close this down and relaunch a new browser, and I'll probably be able to see everybody chatting and be able to talk, but I got tons of people, 214 on already, so I guess just wasn't shown in my previous browser. This is really cool technology, I tell you that I can actually look and see you guys all live at the same time, right? So here we are, and I've also got a different chat that actually shows everybody together coming from Twitch and Facebook Live, and so you can chat with me on those different platforms as well. I'm going to pull this down so I can see everything. Now it looks like we are all live and set and going, so let's get into it right now. If you go back here and you look at the actual cue board, the last one was still 2642, where he talks at December 22nd when he passed when he posted 3 days before Christmas. He said, "Fake, fake, fake. The more you know. Research for yourself." And it's got a YouTube in there where both Obama and Chuck Schumer are basically talking about how important border security was, and they were supporting fencing for miles. So this talks about it being so hypocritical. So it's been quiet the last few days, but what we did find out is there were some amazing things going on. Like here's an article from the Gateway Pundit that came out early today saying Trump White House quiet as Air Force One type plane flies from Joint Base Andrews over Europe to point unknown. Behind me you see the map of where he was going. Here it is right here. Shows him crossing Germany, going through Hungary, all the way through Romania. Where'd he end up? Well, we know now that he ended up in Iraq visiting our troops. He flies all Christmas Day to go visit troops in Iraq. Now, that is amazing, isn't it? So I see Law Dog and other people on board. Thank you guys for joining me and for the 2 false starts. But it looks like we have a great connection this time. Virtual Shield's there, so they can't find my IP address. It's tougher for the deep state to hack me when I've got Virtual Shield up and running, right? Hey, but the actual sponsor for this is Rick's Natural Oil. Did you know hemp oil, the Farm Bill, it got legalized in all 50 states now? And this is great for a lot of people. For medical purposes, it was in a lot of states already, but now it's pretty much opened up where hemp oil can really help. And so you can get some huge discounts here. If you use BLESS20 in your coupon code, you get another 20% discount on all these oils. You can get different flavors, natural, blueberry, and strawberry here. Again, I think I've told you about the cat that lived 5 years. It was supposed to be gone within the next couple. We're giving it to our cat right now that has kidney stones, and then and also we're taking it daily, so we're both health nuts too. So to actually just from a health perspective, these plants absorb like 100% of the nutrients. There's no plant like it, right? And to have all that illegal was kind of silly. All right, let's get going here. I got a lot of family in the house. We're going to be going to dinner and bowling tonight, so this might be a little bit shorter as I go through this, but there's some exciting things I want to make sure you saw. Again, BLESS20 would give you the discount on ricksnaturaloil.com, ricksnaturaloil.com. Here's the schedule. This is kind of interesting. So if you went to POTUS schedule, which is the official Twitter, and you looked at his schedule, and you saw back here on December 25th, they have a 17-second video. Now that to me is just another Q proof. How many coincidences can you have, as they would say? So look at this, 17 seconds. Let's listen to it right now. Take this off. Back, 17-second video. So play for me, puppy. There it goes. Merry Christmas from the White House on December 25th, 17 seconds. Now that is pretty cool. And so it was originally pushed out on the White House website, but then later, I'm trying to see exactly what time it was on the White House, but then on December 25th, it actually came out on, so there it came out, it was actually posted on December 25th as well, and then reposted on POTUS's schedule. And what was interesting about that is that's when all of a sudden this plane left, right? So here it is on POTUS's schedule Twitter when the plane left. Again, 17 seconds, 17 being the Q, being the 17th letter of the alphabet. Now that is pretty cool. And then in the Matrix points pretty deep here. He says, hey guys, look at this. So in the Matrix saying, guess what is on the Q clock today, Patriots? Q35, POTUS will be well insulated, protected on Air Force One and abroad, special locations classified while these operations are conducted due to the nature of the entrenchment. More below. So here's the post. You can see post 35, and it goes on. It's a pretty long one. I'll go look at it in a second. But if you look at the 11/10, the date when this came out, and then post 35, the Q clock would say 12:26. So sure enough, that is a wild coincidence. So if you go look at the Q map and you look at 35 right here, you can see this is post 35, November 1st was that. So if I go back to this in the Matrix thing and I look at the Q clock, right there, that was 11:01. So I misread that before I did it upside down as a 10. But it's 11:01. This clock right here also goes to 12/26, 2018, which is today. And so that 12/26 today points us exactly back to Q35. I want to make sure everybody understands that's the way the clock works. So again, as this goes through, it's eerie how some of these things are hitting. And so this says POTUS insulated and protected. It says POTUS will be well insulated, protected on Air Force One and abroad, special locations classified. And you probably saw it yesterday. The 24th, I showed you the Department of Defense Twitter showing the crossing of the Delaware happening on December. Then they showed that last year as well. So big operations are going on Christmas Day, and I think there was another one that happened this time. So again, the special locations classified while these operations are conducted due to the nature of the environment. It is time to take back our country and make America great again. Let us salute and pray for the brave men and women in the uniform who will undertake this assignment to bring forth peace, unity, and return power to the people. It is our hope that this message reaches enough people to make a meaningful impact. We cannot yet telegraph this message through normal methods for reasons I'm sure everyone here can understand. Follow the questions from the previous threads and remain calm. The primary targets are within DC and remain at the top on both sides. The spillover in the streets will be quickly shut down. Look for more false flags. Stay alert, be vigilant, and above all, please pray. And then he quotes John 3:16 out of the Bible. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. Love is patient, love is kind." So this first one was John 3:16, and this is out of Corinthians. Love is patient, love is kind. And it says, "God bless my fellow Americans." 4:10:20, and almost everybody believes 4:10:20, based on the number of the alphabets. With gematria is 4 being D, 10 being J, 20 being T. Donald J. Trump. Back all the way in November of 2017, pointing based on the winding of the clock that the Anons found out about. Right here, QMAP. Sorry, here's the clock. Again, at 24 minutes was 11:01, which goes right to 12:26. So that is wild stuff based on this, mysterious trip. And then you look at here's some other people talking about it. And when they finally arrived, here they are, Donald J. Trump. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the music here. This is a minute 23, so it's a little bit longer than I want to play. But because I will get a copyright strike for just that much, probably, right? So here's at FLOTUS, Melania and I were honored to visit our incredible troops at AI Assad Air Base in Iraq. God bless the USA. There you go. Minute 23 plays the whole song. I'll skip through here to give you guys a kind of a feel where they're talking to the soldiers with the sound off, etc. But again, what a president we have that would take his Christmas to literally not be in Florida, but from Andrews Air Force Base all the way across Europe down into the Middle East and in Iraq, visiting the troops. And now he's on to another undisclosed location, right? And here's another person telling us, hey, today is D5, meaning the day 5 of the shutdown. Does POTUS trip to Iraq signify anything? And so that's kind of real interesting. And so we hear a lot of big players, Barack and Hillary, not tweeting for Christmas. So now we know they don't really respect Christmas that much anyway. That's why they're always saying happy holidays versus Christmas. So it would be no doubt for me to see that. There's some good discussion about it here. And there's that 35 that we just talked about, tweet 35. But that is some pretty cool stuff here. Now here's another thing I wanted to show you guys. This is people used to call them FBI Anon before Q came around, and there's a lot of people that don't believe in this, but this vote.co, VOAT.co, this surfaced back up, and I never read it, so I decided to read it, and it was just really intriguing. There's a lot of truth that I think actually matches what Q would say, but it's full 6 and probably would take a full 40 minutes to read it all. But I'm just going to read the first part of it and kind of skip to some section parts of it. And I'll put the link in here for you guys to go look at it. But this is a thread here of this 1 through 6 tweets on, I think they called this guy FBI Anon. That was pre-Q. Some of it's before the election, some of it's after the election. But look, it says, okay, secrets contained in the second server at Benghazi with nuke stuff recovered by the Benghazi team wasn't supposed to happen. One tech guy got a look at it, debriefed and confiscated. Here it comes in 6 tweets. Take a deep breath. 1-6. So this is a couple months ago when they tweeted this, but you can see some of this dates before the election. But it says, FBI official very close to me confirms everyone's worst suspicions. The Hillary Clinton email server was merely a distraction from the Clinton Foundation and most of Washington, D.C. is in up to their necks in what could be the biggest scandal of all times. The inside info comes from someone who is high-level FBI analyst whose job was to look at the records with his notes added. The smoking gun is about to arrive, and there are a lot of people involved. To save everyone time, what follows here are the choice bits. Looks like Trump and Putin hold some of the cards. This could be the most interesting election ever. So you can tell it's talking about that pre-election. Now it says, from November 2006, there's an intense pressure within the FBI for us not to indict Hillary. So that's obviously true. I am sending this from a position of near anonymity and enough plausible deniability to evade prosecution. And we have all been given gag orders. There's enough for Hillary and the entire government to be brought down. People do not realize how enormous this whole situation actually is. Whether she will be indicted or not depends on how much info about others involved gets out. And there's a lot of people who are involved. And so this goes, and and this goes into quite a bit of detail, but there's some really, I'm just going to kind of go about every other paragraph or so to give you a feel for it. A bigger problem than killing Hillary would not cause this problem to go away. The problem is with the Clinton Foundation, as I mentioned, which you should just imagine as a massive spiderweb of connections and money laundering implicating hundreds of high-level people. Though I do not have the high opinion of Hillary, she is just a piece, albeit a big piece, of this massive storm. Legal is asking preliminary questions about whether or not she has been coached. She has. And setting up the general line of questioning. I am a high-level analyst, though, so my job is not to look at the record. So that was just one of 6. And so it says you have 3 choices. Basically, you turn off all the information over to the Department of Defense and let everything out, and there's going to be a war because of the special access programs. This is what they're predicting. And then B says cherry pick the data to implicate the people already in the eye of the public opinion. And then C says do nothing and watch the unstable politics climate to gauge how you respond. But here's this: FBI Director Comey will likely resign in any case, which didn't happen. He got fired, right? FBI is being very quiet for a reason. Most of us want to keep our jobs, right? It says Snowden has nothing to do with this, which I think is correct because he was working with the CIA to take the NSA down. I'm going to skip here. George Soros is at the heart of all of this. If it comes down to it, I would fight. But most of us are of the opinion that Hillary will not be president, and having Trump in office makes our job that much easier. But right now, we will have to carefully wade through the mud. As I stated before, Bill Clinton likely wanted Loretta Lynch to focus on the email server and shy away from the prosecuting the foundation. Right? And so I'm going to skip over here to the 3 of 6. As the Department of Justice is most likely looking to save itself, finding everyone involved in the Clinton Foundation, from its donors to its board of directors, and imagine they are all implicated. The entire federal government is involved. My opinion is that the entire government is guilty of treason, which is why Hillary's death would not seize the investigation or prevent further scandals. Many, many people are involved. There already is evidence enough to indict with the most severe prosecution. FBI Director Comey has been trying to stall because he does not want to face the Clinton machine, as well as the rest of Washington, D.C. I'm going to skip over here. Foreign powers have some of the documents. Russia will probably leak all info they have. Foreign powers are in possession of some of the documents we have analyzed because they were hacked from the Clinton server. I'm going to skip a little bit more. It says, a multitude of scandals. Saudi Arabia visits and donates to the Clinton Foundation. Russia uranium fiasco. Hillary and the Israeli lobby. The Council of Foreign Relations, the CFR. I've talked to you about that. The AIPAC. The list is endless. Also, this is the standing issue of the Davy Crockett's and the fact that the Obama approved the transfer of several of them to Syrian rebels. Those are nuclear, by the way. We now know that they have fallen into the hands of the enemy. That's right. Obama gave nukes to the enemy of not only the United States, but Russia as well. There are 3 choices that could crash everything. I'll put it to you this way. And it says, so between what was on the servers, the Davy Crockett's, the lifted restrictions, the $150 billion, there's enough evidence to convict the Obamas and the Clintons and many more members of the government of high treason. Trump was given some of this data 2 years ago. He is known all along. Trump's conversation with Obama on November 10th was about this exact subject. This is high treason. Nuclear information sold to our enemies, punishable by death. This is what all Democrats, all Republicans, and all the media was against Trump. That's why they were all against him. They all know what happens now. When Hillary got the news that she lost Pennsylvania, she had a major seizure, which is why she couldn't address the crowd Tuesday night. Now we're looking, you can tell these are now after, summarizing what was after the election. Now they are seeking 2020 candidates who will be pushed with a $3 billion fund to place her in the White House. Source: Clinton's, Obama's, and a huge list of people are going down. They will try to push back the trials and try to get a Democrat in 2024 so they can be pardoned. Stay informed. Do not believe what you hear on TV. They are all involved. There's Mockingbird Media for you. We are one. With truth, we can unite. With lies, we are divided. Then there's two more that comes up. It looks like that skipped on me. Here's fifth one. It says, ultimately, Hillary sold weapons and coordinates of the Chinook coppers, carrying the 12 SEALs that killed bin Laden, along with the rocket that killed them, to bin Laden family. So this is the theory here. She used Stevens, obviously the person in Libya that got killed, the ambassador to Libya, to arrange the transfer of funds, which was $1.2 billion to the Clinton Foundation in Swiss accounts. In the deal was nuclear information from classified files from the 1970s. She had Stevens in the Pentagon getting a server to take with him to Benghazi. There was a backup server. That was the one in her closet. She then allowed the bin Ladens to mass the people to raid Stevens' compound. Stevens had no idea that he had brokered and had no idea that the server contained top secret nuclear files. The plan was going great until the SEALs and CIA guys from the other compound went over to assist. She did not know they were going to assist and were ordered to stand down. The plan was to kill Stevens and his guys, and the process allowed the bin Laden family to have nuclear secrets to one day avenge their sons. The plan went south, and those guys from the other compound refused to stand down. They get to the compound in time to rescue a few guys, and what else? They ended up with the server. Once word got back to the White House that the Stevens guys were rescued, Hillary ordered a complete stand down by the rescue mission and then told the commander of the invading force to attack the other compound. By that time, she wanted everyone dead and the enemy to have that server. During the attack on the compound, 2 tech guys got into the server. They knew something was very, very odd. What did they find? Top secret nuclear files. They immediately break standard protocol and transfer the files to a top secret server in case they are overrun. By this time, Hillary has already fabricated the story that a pastor in California made a YouTube video that caused the mob to attack. A total lie. So here's 6 to 6. This is interesting. So then, to fulfill her end of the deal, starts emailing the files to random staff members on accident while allowing the bin Laden family to intercept the data while it was in motion. At this point, some of her staff had to defect. It was these people who were ultimately leaking the DNC emails to WikiLeaks. Now that's interesting because I think that's false because most of us would believe that's Seth Rich, right? She was told the Benghazi server was destroyed and she believed it. At least she hoped it was true. Little did she know that it was at that time our own intel community began to hack her personal emails as well as while giving them to Julian Assange. The day before the election, they were going to drop this bomb to destroy her, but by that time, they knew Trump was going to win, which would be interesting because I didn't think anybody knew they were going to win. He was going to win the night before, unless you were a really strong believer, right, and believed in the prophecies. Here is an even more crazy information. A list of the senators who know about it. There was a total of $1.7 trillion with a T given in grants to spread the wealth to try to sweep things under the rug. Things were getting very desperate for many. The money was granted by Obama to Mideast nations, then given back to their politicians through a series of Swiss entities. The Clintons have hundreds of these Swiss entities alone. The money was granted by Obama to Mideast nations, then given back to our politicians through a series of Swiss entities. John McCain is at the top of the list of the recipients. He and other Republicans just trace those who campaigned against Trump, and it will lead to those who are guilty. There you go. Just think about the never Trumpers of Paul Ryan and Flake and obviously No Name was at the top of that. And it gets even crazier. Chris Stevens had a few more gifts that he did not know anything about. These gifts were 7 Davy Crockett M388 nuclear mortars. Obama had the weapon declassified and transferred to the Syrians through a group in Benghazi. Ultimately, in September, one of these weapons were used that killed nearly 20 Russian troops in Syria. That's right, American nukes killing Russian troops. Now, that's interesting. I hadn't heard anything about this. Remember, Putin ordered 40 million Russian citizens to perform a nuclear evacuation. That was his response to send a message to Hillary that was preparing for if she got in. Now we know that the remaining 6 Davy Crockett's are in the hands of Iran. We also know that Obama has lifted the nuclear restrictions on Iran. We also know that Obama gave Iran $150 billion. So anyway, that is these 6 of 6 things from this thread that I just thought was really intriguing. It obviously dates back a while ago. It was posted a couple of months ago, but it's now floated back to vote.co and got some really good discussions going. There's some people saying, hey, this is not correct, guys. So, this person really enjoyed it. You can still see some discussion about this. Wasn't this FBIN from way back in the day? And yep, it sure was. And so, again, most people are saying that FBA anon thread, but added a bunch of stupid BS, so it's less credible. So I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying it's a very interesting read, and a lot of it was consistent, right, with what we're seeing. And that was 2 years ago before all of it's coming out with Spygate, right? So all the Spygate stuff about DOJ and FBI running scared was consistent. Thought that was just really interesting. Here's some more news about Trump says government shutdown to last until agreement on the border wall. So he's not real worried about this because he knows he's got funding, I believe, from the Army Corps of Engineers, and the military can build this thing, right? I think this is a purposeful shutdown based on they knew just to kind of show the hypocrisy of what's going on with the deep state, and also some potential operations that I'm thinking happened here over the last few days. So kind of interesting, isn't it? But I'll tell you what, this president is changing everything. And that's why my other sponsor I love is the Trump coin. They're my number one sponsor for the month of December. You've probably noticed, I think 15 of the 20 days they wanted to be on the air with you guys because they know you guys are awesome. So somebody's saying it's a false story for the M388. Says, but they weigh 1,600 pounds. Yeah, it would seem like it would be a mushroom cloud and all kinds of things. I would agree, Spud Forever. Thank you for giving a little more information on that. Interesting that things point back to Soros and the Clinton Foundation. No, that's correct. And the corrupt FBI and DOJ, that stuff's correct, right? So here we go on this Trump coin. Thank you for retired person says George M. Nassif has been a hacker and has all the data. And I apologize, I'm going to have to readjust this a little bit so I can read all of it. Find his Facebook page for details. I'll follow him for 2 years. He's legit. It's HRC emails and tons of stuff. So George M. Nassif is what retired person is suggesting that we look at. But hey, this Trump coin, you've probably seen this. I'm going to show you this live right now. This is the Trump coin right here. They've put it in plastic so your oil and your fingers don't get it, so you can keep it perfect. Now you can take it out if you obviously want to. But not only does the front show an awesome thing that says President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, the back of it is what's really amazing. I'll put it up on the screen here where you can see the back of it where it actually has the 4 of these cool promises. Delivering as promised. And I think it's going to be cool. Now, somebody pointed out, and it's true, if you go get an ounce of silver, it'll probably only cost you, I don't know, $12-15 or something like that. But this is like art and memorabilia and limited coin production. It's a whole nother science, right? In fact, you can go get a gold one of these. It costs $1,895. You can get this for only $35. And so we bought 7 of these. I think I told you, one for me and my wife. She wanted for her birthday, as well as 5 Christmas presents, right? But now that Christmas is over, you can still use this for investment or for other types of gifts. Again, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is the 4 promises. It says first major tax reform in 30 years, unemployment rate the lowest in 18 years, jobless claims lowest in 1973, and the highest Dow Jones in history, even though the Federal Reserve has done a good job crashing that. But again, you can get these for only $35 as a collector's limited edition, and you can actually come in and actually do 3 of these. If you buy more than 3 of them, you'll get a free shipping if you use BLESSED in the coupon code. So again, once you come up here and you have 3 or more, update your cart here. Right here, the coupon code would be BLESSED. Thank you, Joe Martinez. I hope you had a great Christmas as well. Some other cool news here, and then we'll get to a prophecy too. Former Dojo Pizza owner found guilty of federal child sex charges. So this is a while ago. If you go to the actual article, I think I pulled it up here. Yeah, I think you just click on it, and you see here's the Department of Justice showing Wednesday, December 26th for immediate release. And so, former Dojo Pizza owner found guilty of federal sex charges after an 11-day bench trial in May. U.S. District Court Judge Audrey Flessing returned guilty verdicts on 8 counts involving 4 victims relating to child exploration and child pornography produced and possessed by Lauren Ceci Kopp, former owner of a DOJ pizza located at 401 Magnaford Road. So you can see that this happens, and this is real stuff. What's frustrating is this was an indictment on way back in 2016, found guilty in December 2018, sentencing in April 2019. What takes so long, right? It's like, gosh, that's why these military tribunals are going to speed things up significantly. Here says triplets all became autistic within the hours of being vaccinated. So there was a lot of discussion about big pharma and vaccinations. Here's a link here. You can go actually look at this. This was the European Times that's talking about this. And again, crime against humanity, triplets all become autistic within hours of vaccinations. So again, it's like crazy stuff going on out there. Here is POTUS disarms the deep state with Syrian withdrawal. So that's the I guess the going in position here. And this is actually a Zero Hedge article. Did Trump put the deep state on notice with the Syrian withdrawal? And he's got really deep articles. If I don't have time to go over that tonight, as I told you, I'm due for dinner here any second here. Look at this Boy Scouts thing. Lost $425,000 in 1 week after they made this general neuter name change. So instead of being Boy Scouts, it's going to be called something really silly. General Natural Scouts. General Natural Scouts instead of Boy Scouts. Okay, whatever. That's why you lose $425,000 and they're about ready to go bankrupt. Boy Scouts of America on the verge of filing for bankruptcy as membership numbers plummet. What do you expect, dudes? It's like, gosh. And here's a person, an anon that said, I'm an atheist, but want to find a good church to go to because I want Christian culture to win. So it's kind of an interesting theory. And this person, this is what would be my suggestion too. Find a non-denominational Christian church, right? That actually teaches what says in the Bible. The best teachers teach just what the biblical text says. Here's a grand jury, December 14, 2018, involves Hillary Clinton and uranium-1. This is just a speculation. But do you recall the day the entire floor of the D.C. federal courthouse was sealed off for a mysterious grand jury case? It was December 14th, 2018, the same day this public court document was filed. Notice the 12/14/18 date. The document was signed by Hillary Clinton under oath. So this is when she had to respond to the judicial watch about the email. So that is interesting. So could that be part of this whole fun that we're seeing? This person says in Gateway Pundit, wow, far left cranks who wrote junk Senate Russia interference report are the same hacks that ran the Russia-inspired smear campaign against Roy Moore. So this is kind of an interesting article that goes back and shows, it's all these Blumenthal characters with Media Matters all jointly trying to slam everybody to divide us as much as they possibly can. Here's another Gateway Pundit article. It says Judge Janine Pirro to President Trump, keep up the border wall shutdown. This is your moment in history. So there's, we got at least her fighting for this pretty hard, right? Merry Christmas. While Dems slept, President Trump ended disastrous catch and release policies. So this came out on Christmas Day, basically just saying putting an end to it even more with his executive orders and killing other executive orders. Here's a front page mag saying Progressive Campus Caucus targets religious Jewish professor and evangelical Christian provost. It says when the Nazis come to America, they'll call themselves progressives. And that's, again, when the Nazis come to America, they will call themselves progressives. Here's another thing about pedophiles are trying to become part of the LGBT community. They've got this new thing called MAPs, which is a minor attracted persons. We cannot let that go, guys. You got to draw a line somewhere, right? You got transgenders, but give me a break. Not pedophilia. No, we're going to say no to that for sure, right? So that is the news. I want to get to a prophecy now. My blessedtoteach.com with a 2 got hacked big time. So I had to spend a ton of money reviving what I could, everything between October 2nd and back. It looks like we were able to get, but I'm having to repay for my whole website being rebuilt, putting a lot more security into my host provider now, and having backups being done automatically, all that type of stuff, because I should realize that earlier, but trying to do things with nominal expense. And so this is just realizing when we're fighting the deep state, this takes money, guys. I'm sorry. That's why I have sponsors. That's why I'm trying to do things that grow here. But just FYI, that's kind of where we are on that. So it's supposed to come back up late tomorrow. Hope to have the website back up and running, and hopefully we'll get my show notes back running. But I've lost all the show notes permanently. We'll still have links to the videos, and I still have all my videos. We've just lost all the show notes from October 3rd to since December 24th is when we'll get those back in. But hey, I've got my chat group that's going. We have 25 of us. I'm half full. I'm gonna end it at 50 and never grow above that because it's just going to be too riley for a chat group. So if you're interested in a chat group, really most of the people are people that have joined the Patreon. So Patreon, you can join me for as little as $1 a month, right? And if you really want to be part of the chat group and you can't afford $1 a month, then just contact me. We'll figure it out, right? But most people are doing the $10 a month. That's what I had set it out originally, but I'd collapse that to not make it a money thing. But it is going to be capped at 50 people. You can see Patreon's fun because I'll put here's a little 30-second video or less, maybe 20-second about when I was at the eye doctor today. So if you want to get to know me a little bit better, join Patreon. If you like WhatsApp and chatting, cross-platform as well as nationwide does really well. Worldwide does really well. So that's going to be the Blessed to Teach, the B2T chat group. You need to just go to patreon.com, join there. You can do also PayPal if you want to, but just let me know and we'll get you on WhatsApp. You have to download the WhatsApp app to your phone, and you'll also have to give me your mobile number so I can connect with you, right? And get you added to the chat group. Again, there's only 25 more going to be allowed there, and we'll cut it off at that point in time. Let's get to this thing here. It's all I have, but you can't have it. Blessings, says Lady War Anon. But you can have it. So Lady War Anon, if you want to come on to Blessed to Teach, again, connect me with one of my platforms, and we'll get there. I'm with you, Rick. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Joe Martinez. I really, really appreciate you guys. Here's another thing you can do is we can go into understand better about what's going on with prophecies. And I tell you, Mark Taylor, I've been testing him for over 2 years now, and he's been right on the board. So let's see what he has to say back in these 2 paragraphs that he wrote back on January 24th, 2018. So this is one of his most recent ones. This might be his most recent one. So if you go to swordrescue.com, SORD rescue.com, every so often Mark will be updating here. So he hasn't done another prophecy in written format in almost a year. So I'm hoping he has another one or two. But here's what he said back in January of this year. The Spirit of God says, how do you capture a country? You capture its energy. For too long, you evil globalists have controlled the energy, and it stops now. It shall be exposed in one country after another who has been manipulating and controlling my earth through oil and energy. You evil globalists think you control the oil? Ha! I laugh at my enemies. The oil is not yours but mine, and the Lord God controls it. I will release it to my righteous nations, and I will cut it off from the wicked ones. For I, the Lord God, own all the silver and gold, including black gold. Thank you, by the way, Joe Pope, and also Shane Preston. Second paragraph says, this, the Spirit of God says, the sign has been given that the energy boom is here now. The energy explosion will be the biggest in the history of my America and my Israel. New oil energy will be discovered and released in the natural. It will be a sign that the new oil is being released in the spiritual over America and Israel. Other countries' economies will be affected. Russia and China will be put in their place. Your militaries shall be affected by this. Your planes will be seen sitting on the tarmac, unable to fly for lack of parts. You will no longer be considered a threat or a superpower. When America announces she is energy independent, these things shall take place. The national debt will be dealt a death blow from what I am releasing in the natural and the spiritual. New energy. New energy is here now, and these new discoveries will confound the wise. For it is those that think they are wise that have held all this energy captive, but no more. For I, the Lord God, am unleashing it now. So that was, and there's a lot, it's crazy how Israel and the United States are both exporting oil now. Who would have ever thought? Israel had no oil, and they found tons of it off their coast. They're now exporting it. And remember, the beginning of all knowledge is fear of the Lord. There's some people that are wise from their mind and think, but they're complete fools, according to the biblical definition. Because why? The beginning of all knowledge is fear of the Lord. A healthy fear. Knowing how awesome He is, the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, the creator of the universe, the first cause. If you really know that, if you don't understand that, I'm sorry, the Bible calls you a fool. And why? Because the beginning of all true knowledge is fear of the Lord. And here's Galatians 5:17 says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old is gone and the new is here. We only can really have true knowledge when we know the Lord and have the Holy Spirit in us. That's what this talks about. You're a new creation. The old creation is a sinful nature. And the new creation is this life in Christ. And it's awesome. And that's what I love to talk to people about a lot, as you can tell. All right, guys, I'm late for the dinner, so I got to get out of here and go do some bowling with both families in here. We've got my daughters here all the way from up north with her son-in-law, and we're getting the families together for some bowling tonight and some dinner at Torchy's. Be an awesome place. But really appreciate you guys and wanted to let you know that this is an exciting time. Let's keep this up. I know there's a lot of negative information coming out there. I don't see it, guys. I'm gonna keep looking at about if you look at it from a prophecy perspective, a biblical perspective of what God can do when He is interacting, and then you look at it from the perspective of what we're getting from Q, military intelligence, and seeing what Trump's doing. It's like you take all that stuff together, and this is an awesome time to be alive. Just don't put expectations in your head that arrests are going to happen or something like that. This could be a long, slow death of the deep state, just like Reagan taking out the wall and Gorbachev and communism over time. It took him a while. This could take Trump years to completely end all this. So, but exciting things, because these little tiny pieces is what has to happen to take down a 100-year-old cabal, right? Centuries-old cabal. Hey, with that, I just want to say the Air Force One mystery solved. He's in Iraq. Who knows where he's going next, though? This is an awesome president doing this on Christmas Day. D5 being the 26th there, the 5th day of the shutdown? Could that have something to do with another D5 meeting of the many D5 meetings that we have? The avalanche, the famous chess move, December 5th, which was the move when George Bush's funeral was, and that we had all those envelopes delivered. Exciting times when we start getting the news unlocking the map. This is Rick, your host on the Blessed Teach Show here on December 26th. God bless you guys. Can't wait to see you next time.